Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Trung. I'm a philosophy lecturer at the University of Economics in the city. I am delighted to be here today to present my research with the title Metaphysics for Environmental Ethics, an Inter-Narrative for Sustainability. For the starting point, when we discuss on the sustainability, why there is the question on the environmental ethics matter? And the next question is, do we need some kind of metaphysics to be served as a framework for the sustainability? Those two questions will be maybe answered via my research. I think I have no time to present all my paper. I just present some main point bullet today. Let's start with my question. And how does anthropocentrism get into trouble? This is some important bullet idea to summarize. From the starting point of the evolution, Mother Earth is at the center of the story of the Earth, where the living world provides humans with essential and basic needs such as land, water, and air. Humanity's first tentative step toward civilization came from agriculture, which means cultivating the land, growing crops, and cleaning wasteland. Human rose a new discourse. This is the very important step. Farming through labor gradually shaped human position from a supporting to a secondary role. Humans made great strides with the Industrial Revolution, in which the elites called the first competition revolution. And they expanded their horizon, look at the universe and shaped the dominant position with wisdom and intelligence. The acts of exploiting nature no longer serves only the needs of survival, but the needs of development, where humans played a central role. This kind of story, from the secondary role to the central role. That's we call the anthropocentrism. Human from now on is the center of the story. And that's the problem. Human became the shepherds instead of being shepherded by nature, the words by using Ern Ellis. So the essential elements for human will be absorbed into the human value space, which Ellis called human inhabitants. And anything that does not fall within this value space is considered non-human inhabitant. And you can see there is no room for the second factor. We are the most important thing from now on. So this is the cause. Anthropocentrists are therefore taken to believe that every instant of values originate in a contribution to human values, and that all elements of nature can at most have values instrumental to the satisfaction of human interests. End quote. At this time, the object properties and characteristics outside human are only analyzed and evaluated based on what they bring and how they satisfy human survival need. So if an object X belonging to the nature world exists concerning human needs, then its existence and property are only valuable to human. So from that, some kind of framework on Ellis and Brian Norton, especially Brian Norton in the excellent book Environmental Ethics, he separated into two kinds of Anthropocene, and based on two references, fair references and considered references. Fair references that's used by some kind of economic area, focus on the values and the interests served directly, immediately for human need. Fair references is an approach that emphasizes immediate and quick satisfaction of personal need. Here is how to shape the behavior of exploiting and using nature. The purpose is only to satisfy individual. And immediately, clearly shown in the economic approach, what is called useful and valuable is often measured quantitatively by the benefit that values bring to people. The hierarchies of values and judgment only intend to answer the question of what people want. And in contrast, Brian Norton talked about the considerate references, in which priority based on careful consideration and reason with scientific worldview and ethical and aesthetic foundation for behavior requires a bounded worldview that an individual immediate and essential needs. It requires reasoning back to the subject itself regarding values and appropriate action. Not only for the action of subject, we human beings, that is a person, but also for the larger dimension of the value space of individual. So let's talk about the second part of my paper today. Propose a pragmatist worldview from pragmatist philosopher to solve this problem. This is the quote from Kai Nielsen. Our language must, as much as our body, are shaped by environment. This is a very important point. Our language could no more be out of touch with our environment, the world, than our body could. Richard Rorty is fully a Darwinism, that is, like all the other pragmatists. Rorty takes Darwin serious and tailor his account to fit and beyond Darwin. The cell can be formed without inherent precondition, such as historical conditions, social characteristics, language, and political context. However, it is crucial not to allow this condition to become a blanket system in which universal belief system violate the personal development of self. Instead, within a controlled environment, the cell extends beyond the scope of a single individual, forming connection with other cells in an interactive network. Rorty takes the French Revolution as an example. The French Revolution changed entire system related to vocabulary, interpretation, concept about social relations, social political structure, and state establishment. These changes did not come from the introspective reasoning from its side, but from the social environmental that way. Environmental, what is environmental? When we talk about environmental, we from the old standpoint perspective, we just focus on natural condition. So from now on, I will provide you the pragmatist view, especially from John Dewey, who emphasized when we talk about environment, it is not about natural condition. It's the whole thing around us. So this is the quote from Kelly Parker. The characteristics and activities of any organism are always understood in the light of the organism's relation to its environment. The human capacity of thinking and knowing are not exception. Consciousness, reason, imagination, language, and side use, mind in short, are seen as natural adaptation that help the human organism to get along in the world. End quote. The world with which we interact and understand is a world ascribed to sensible familiarity, that is, no normality. The function of the interaction between the subject and the external environment are based on a metaphysical foundation of the object interdivisibility and interaction. This foundation creates a vague but firm boundary between human and nature. This core point needs to change. We need a more realistic metaphysical foundation. And this is the solution I suggest. The subject and the object of perception cannot be separated. Both are in inseparable relationship. The knowing subject and the known subject constitute a unified whole interaction and cognition. They can even change place in the complexity substitution. Thinking is not an independent entity assigned to the cognitive subject. This foundation has shaped an interpretative tendency or just theory and guides a methodology that allows us to complete and criticize our perception. This is a quote from Stephen Fessmeyer. A related key division term, environment, also faced better in French, and he's consciously intended the phrase milieu. Milieu wrapped in culture as well as physical condition and suggests an interactive medium rather than mere external surrounding. This is the way I'm talking. When we talk about the environment, this is not the natural condition only, but also the whole surroundings, even including the historical, political context where we live in it. According to the way, there are characteristics of new metaphysics. He used the word the map. What is the map? The map is some sort of the methodology that John Dewey emphasized. He called the denotative method, in which we have to use the twice or triple loop to rethinking. When we do something, we have to rethinking. He emphasized this by using the primary and secondary spelling, rethinking. We have to rethinking what we see, what we live, what we act. So, according to Dewey, the map that is we can construct as follows: describing the scale, shape, and area of the map is matter of selection and choice. This is the key concept. The selection and choice. Maps are always temporary and subject to revision and improvement. Maps are a prime example of symbolic communication. This can be linked to Richard Rorty. He expressed some solution for some kind of conflict. If we want to solve any conflict, the first we have to conversation with each other. So how can we conversation? We have to communicate and respect with each other. So a flexible and broader dimension of individual and specialized research field must be established to complement and interact and adapt to each other to become methodology for thinking and action. Subjectivity and objectivity must then become intersubjectivity. The poetic narrative must become an inter-narrative. So based on that kind of math and framework, Brian Norton find out some interest suggestion for this kind of problem, metaphysics, inter-narrative metaphysics. Based on fair references, he called a strong anthropocentrism. This is the wrong way that we use in the long term, not only in economic area, but also in our framework of action. And from the considered references, he suggests the weak anthropocentrism. Why does he not just refute the concept anthropocentrism? We cannot refute, right? Because we human beings, we always in the center of everything. We're talking about we protect the environment. Who protect the environment? We. So we cannot refute this kind of concept, anthropocentrism. So we have to change from strong anthropocentrism to weak anthropocentrism, in which based on consideration and criticism of the value system in each action of exploiting the nature world. Self-references will be just and weighed in harmonious interaction with the environment. Human will no longer exploit and stipulate the function and values of the natural world. The natural world will be playing the role of teacher, guiding human behavior as an observer and evaluator of the level of balance in human behavior. This is my conclusion. Based on this foundation of pragmatism and metaphysics, we will aim for inter-narrative in an interdisciplinary dimension. The issues raised in sustainable development cannot be divided into separate areas such as the economic, environmental, and social component. As we may know, that in the 17 SDG, Sustainable Development Goal run by United Nations, they separate into the Wayne model, economic factor, social factor, and environmental biosphere factor, and it's linked together, cannot separate or divide. A holistic picture of sustainability must be perceived and built upon the reality of continuous experimentation and adaptation of choice and change. Interdisciplinary interaction reflects the internarrative nature of interaction between people and the external environment. So I finished my paper today, and please welcome your any evaluation or any question. Thank you.